Yeah. See, I had to fade away. Oh God. Yo. For real. Ay. See, I had to fade away. And I'm praying for better days. I be damned if I let them come take away. Remember struggling, I was gonna lay away. And the hood was hard, Section 8. I be damned if they come and take my plate. I was standing on that block every day. If you're not with the gang, stay away. See, I had to fade away. And I'm praying for better days. I be damned if I let them come take away. Remember struggling, I was on layaway. And the hood was hard, Section 8. I be damned if they come and take my plate. I was standing on that block every day. If you're not with the gang, stay away. All this time made a nigga change. All that crime told that nigga pain. I got in that gym and they say a thing. I throw up the rocks with that paper plane. I step in my cross, we don't play the same. I step out my bus, get a nigga change. I caught you my bro and you traded lanes. I empty your fuck, turn up to a game. They were telling me switch up on in my position. Got telling you live away, why won't you listen? I gave up my heart, but she blamed it on distance. I swear I tried everything, get me to fix it. I was grinding hard, I had bigger visions. I think about all of my brothers I'm missing. You know what I lose, look what I'm risking. So I cannot still gotta keep me your biscuit. See, I had to fade away. And I'm praying for better days. I be damned if I let them come take away. Remember struggling, I was on layaway. And the hood was hard, Section 8. I be damned if they come and take my plate. I was standing on that block every day. If you're not with the gang, stay away. See, I had to fade away. And I'm praying for better days. I be damned if I let them come take away. Remember struggling, I was on layaway. And the hood was hard, Section 8. I be damned if they come and take my plate. I was standing on that block every day. If you're not with the gang, stay away. I just wanna fade away. Remember them times we had layaway. I think the Lord that made away. I thought this money take pain away. Remember them times I prayed rain away. So I cannot let you take away. I know ain't no kids, I don't save the day. I still on this cause they paved the way. Ay. And I see my chance, I'ma take it. I know that I'm destined to make it. Heart full of hate got me feeling like Satan. I'm confused, which way am I taking? Make the news, you play and we baking. All you cooks in the wood, what I'm tasting. I'm the goat, why the fuck I'm mistaken? See, I had to fade away. And I'm praying for better days. I be damned if I let them come take away. Remember struggling, I was on layaway. And the hood was hard, Section 8. I be damned if they come and take my plate. I was standing on that block every day. If you're not with the gang, stay away. See, I had to fade away. And I'm praying for better days. I be damned if I let them come take away. Remember struggling, I was on layaway. And the hood was hard, Section 8. I be damned if they come and take my plate. I was standing on that block every day. If you're not with the gang, stay away. You better stay away. Searching for better days. I'll be damned if they take me away. I'll be damned if they take me away. Okay. For real. Better day. Section 8. On God.
I was despised and rejected, spit on and disrespected, came to my own afflicted. Why didn't they listen to me? The greatest sacrifice no other man could ever give. I gave my life and soul, knowing it would make you live. Spirit was willing, with my flesh I had to overcome. I asked my Father, pass this cup, but I was the only one to do His will, fulfill the scriptures to perfection. Lay down my life in hope of reconciliation. Christ is on His way. Will you be waiting for me? Christ is on His way. Will I find faith in Thee? Christ is on His way. Come to the end of this confusion. Christ is on His way. Establish, turn the righteous ruling. Christ is on His way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on His way. Or will I find iniquity? Christ is on His way. I bear the sins of many. Christ is on His way. How could you do this to me? Of all the families on earth, you only have I known. My sheep was lost in this world. To you my love was shown. I came to give repentance, forgiveness of your sins, to be a prince and savior but you won't let me in. Instead, you delivered me unto the enemy with all your blasphemies. How could you do this to me? Stiff-necked and stuck in your ways, you broke the covenant. You only got a few days before I make my judgment. Oh, forgive them, for they know not what they do. What they do, what they do. I will plead with them face to face till I turn them back to you.
Yo, you thought I wasn't coming back? Imagine that, watch the sky crack when I attack. I held back the winds from the four corners. Now you were gonna watch my battle wax get bloody. No one above me to please them, to choose me, to bruise me, but nothing could move me. You refused me like you never knew me. I didn't have to do it when I carried your iniquity, your wickedly witchery. And you don't remember me, the whole world watched on my name. They lied, denied that I died, so they pierced my side. Now I will return to burn, to unlearn, but the whole world heard. But
everything I do is for the Lord. If I breathe, I breathe for Christ. If I die, I die for Christ, no matter the price. Understand it, I present my body as a living sacrifice.
That's right.
Repent, for the kingdom of the Lord is at hand. The coming of Yahushua is not. And he prophesied when he was going to be born and died. I hope these cats realize that there ain't much time. First and foremost is Satan holds post. Keep your guards up and close with the armor of the Most High. He's not a man that he should lie. I hate when we teach Jake and they walk on by.
Christ is on his way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on his way. Will I find faith in thee? Christ is on his way. Coming to end all this confusion. Christ is on his way. Establish eternal righteous ruling. Christ is on his way. Will you be ready for me? Christ is on his way. Or will I find iniquity? Christ is on his way. I bear the sins of many. Christ is on his way. How could you do this to me? Christ is on his way. I'll hear the ready for me. Turn up the nations for way. Ain't gonna take this no more. Israel, you better enjoy. Come out and no sense confusion. Turn up the nations for way. Ain't gonna take this no more. Ain't gonna take this no more. Ain't gonna be ready for me. Ain't gonna take this no more. Ain't gonna take this no more. Ain't gonna take this no more. Come take this confusion. Ain't gonna take this no more. Ain't gonna take this no
What is going on, YouTube? I hope everyone's having a good night. I'd like to thank everyone for being here. You could have been any place, but you chose to be here in the village. So thank you for that. Thank you, everyone, for making this village something loving, something strong, someplace where people feel safe, someplace where people want to come. Hold on one second. Yeah, so thank you guys for being here. So you know how we started. We here in the village, we believe in that there are 4 bodies that make up who we are, which is our spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. We believe in wellness of all 4 parts of our body. We believe that they all should be at a perpetual balance, or as close as we can get to that. This is why the village was created, for those that need help, like we all do. We're here to help each other and be there for one another. We also believe in 4 hashtags that we have. First, being no more. So what does that mean? No more meaning that no more will we stand by idly and let the atrocities that happen in our life happen anymore. We shall stand and acknowledge and say no more. The second is be the change. We all look out the window and we see that there's good that can be done out there. But for some reason, we're all waiting for someone else to do it. So the good that you would love to see out there is in you. Be that change. Be the good that you want to see. Also, it takes a village. Self-explanatory, but for those of you that can't understand what that means, what that mean is that there is no one person that's going to be an island. We all need each other. We all need help. We all need to be there for one another. So that's what that means. It takes a village. And last and certainly not least is visitation rights are for inmates, not for fathers. Okay. We also here at the village, we believe in holding up a mirror to ourselves because we are the biggest hurdle that we are going to have to jump. So, with that being said, there's a lot going on that we have to unpack tonight. It is a call-in show if you guys want to discuss what is going on. So if you look in the description, it does say Bolo TV wants to know, why did everyone watch? Why did everyone watch? We also have to understand that there's a bigger narrative that is here and that we're not focused on. The bigger narrative is the have-nots separating the distance between, the haves, separating the distance between the have-nots and the haves. We also have to understand that they're trying to usher in a racist war. And from the looks of it, it looks like they're going to get what they want. Because, like we always say here, we've been living so emotionally so long that it's hard to get into that spiritual and mental thought process, that those two parts of the body has been locked out to us. And it's hard for some reason to access it. So they've had us continuously living as emotional creatures. So whatever they show you on television, the television, is how we move. And they've done studies on this, right? Where they have false flags, and we're going to go into that in a minute, about what's going on in this world. And they do certain things and they see how people move. They do it on a small scale. Because chances are, if they blow it up, they're going to get the same movements that they got with the small scale. It's the same way when you look at scientists before they build a bridge, they build a small bridge and they run the smoke through it, through the wind tunnel, just to see the effects that will happen before they spend so much millions and billions of dollars to build a bigger one. And then when they see what effects it's going to have and it passes their tests, that's when they build a big one. If it doesn't, then they move on to the drawing board, right? So there's a video that I want to show you guys that I've showed you a few times. I'm going to drill it into your head till we understand that this is what they're doing to us, until we understand that they want us moving to the beat of their drum.
until we get it. This is going to continue to happen. It's going to continue. So here we go.
With an endless series of hobgoblins, most of them imaginary. John Adams, one of the founding fathers of America, echoed this sentiment, writing, "Fear is the foundation of most governments." While there are numerous tactics and strategies that have developed over the centuries to effectively exploit the public through fear, two of the more powerful and...
Did you hear what he said? Because we have to start listening to words. I just told you that this is what these people do. They study the movements of people. They study these things. Listen to what he said.
echoed this sentiment, writing, "Fear is the foundation of most governments."
And how do they get you to fear? By keeping you in that emotional man. Okay? Keeping you out of that thought process of accessing your spiritual mind and your mental mind. Because you better understand that this is not a physical fight. And the haves are tapped into their demonic power. We need to tap in to our loving spiritual power, our Father.
While there are numerous tactics and strategies that have developed over the centuries,
Tactics and strategies that have developed over the centuries. So these people have been at it for centuries. They're not new to this. They've been at it for centuries. Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers. These powers have existed since the beginning of time. So they've had a lot of time to plan against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. We go through this every stream, and it's starting to piss me off to see how the have-nots move to the beat that the haves play. Instead of thinking, you don't. Everyone is in their emotional bag and moving the way they want us to move.
to effectively exploit the public through fear, two of the more powerful and efficient are the use of false flags and the implementation of propaganda via repetition.
False flags and propaganda. These are two of the biggest instruments that they use to get the people to move the way they want you to move.
A false flag can be defined as a covert operation, designed to deceive in such a way that the operations appear as though they are being carried out by entities, groups, or nations other than those who actually planned and executed them. In his book Feardom, Connor Boyack provides a nice explanation on the effectiveness of false flag attacks for those looking to institute social control.
Listen to that
executed
again.
Them. In his book Feardom, Connor Boyack provides a nice explanation on the effectiveness of false flag attacks for those looking to institute social control.
Okay? They institute false flags to get control. This is what they're doing. They're making you fight each other so that you don't see who the real enemy is, which is them. And we fall for this every time.
Political attacks lead to a corresponding increase of trust in political leaders and submission to them.
So they give you what you want. The people start to ask for something, they give you what you want, and you calm down. Meanwhile, laws is being passed. Meanwhile, moves are being made to subdue the world. To subdue the world.
The effect is likely the same whether the attack be a surprise, known to political leaders yet allowed to happen, or directly orchestrated by these same leaders who stand to benefit from the increased trust and submission.
So do you understand what he's saying? That they have their false flags where they will institute something. And if something else happens that they didn't institute but pushes the narrative in the direction that they want the people to move in, they'll roll with it. When are you people going to wake the hell up and see what's going on around you, man? When are you going to open up your eyes and stop being emotional children and start thinking? Isaiah 33, 6 and 8. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time, and strength of salvation, and the fear of the Lord is his treasure. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. We're not moving with wisdom and knowledge. We're definitely not doing that.
False flag operations are used because people generally do not have access to the details, so they are prone to rely upon what they're told and thus are easily deceived.
So you watch the news and you hear what's being told to you, and instead of you doing your own research, you just take what they say and run with it. You take what they say and think that it's truth. You take what they say and think that it's law. This is what we're doing. We're watching the television. They're telling us different things and we're running with it. We're not hearing the truth. We're not doing our own research.
People will, for the most part, believe what they are told in times of crisis, and so government officials, whether their motives are good or evil, capitalize on or completely fabricate the crises.
We better wake up and understand what's going on around us. We need to wake up. And again, this is not for everybody, right? This is only for those that are meant to get it. I hope and I pray that all our people, all those that hear my voice are supposed to get it. But you know what? It's not true. It's not true. Hold on. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So, usually on Wednesdays and Sundays, there are no calls. But today, I open up the lines for those that can explain to me what's going on. So we're going to go through the video very quickly. We're not going to look at the whole 41 minutes, some odd minutes of what's going on. We're going to look at where did these police officers go wrong? And did they? And then we're going to critique the video, critique what's going on. So now, at the beginning of the video, this gentleman, Mr. Rashad Brooks, is parked, okay, in a Wendy's close to where the takeout line is. Now, obviously, he's sleeping, and the police were called by people that were there.
Yo, what's up, my man? Hey, come in. Hey, man, you're parked in the middle of the drive-thru line here.
Now he's still out. He's not responding. Okay, he's still out.
Hey,
property 41 injured.
Sir.
25 westbound at Jones.
What's up, man?
25 west.
Hey, you're parked in the drive-thru right now. Hey, sir.
Called in by third
You all right?
party. A black Toyota Camry and an unknown.
Dude, you're parked.
You can see the cars going around him.
You're sitting in the drive-thru line here. What's up? So you're parked in the drive-thru line. You're blocking traffic here. You were sleeping.
I'm gonna
it was
forward it to when the other cop actually made contact with him, and they're talking to him. So through all of this time,
before I came, like, this is my car. It's a rental car.
through all of this time, they're having a very cordial
like I told her,
conversation.
I came here. I met her here.
Okay.
From the
Conversation is
beginning, and
cordial.
she picked me up. And, I mean, we went out.
So you met her here at the Wendy's,
Yes.
and then you went out with her.
Yes.
Recall that? You don't
I just want to get to the
Don't
point.
worry,
recall with me, please.
sir.
Well, first, I just want to know you're comfortable walking in your shoes. I can't have
3, 4.
So the man can't count to 9 the first time he walked by. He counted to 4 and then made the turn. Okay. So at this time, the police are still giving him the sobriety test. Now, what I believe is because of the tones that we're in, because of the times that we're in right now, that they gave him an extended. I mean, they wanted to make sure, because they're being recorded, and not only that, there's people around and there's people watching them. Okay. So they wanted to be overly nice to this man, overly nice, to make sure that there was nothing that anyone can say. Okay. So now at this point, the officer, I believe his name is Ralph. I believe, well, Ralph is the one that shot him. But I believe this is the officer right here. Okay. That's going to actually put the cuffs on him. Now, prior to this, they were having a very cordial conversation.
Blah,
He
stop.
blows.
I just had a few drinks. That's it.
How many?
1.5. Like I said, I was into the second cup. I wasn't even.
See, Drizzle, the reason why I went on so far is because of the times that we're in. If we weren't in these times where it's so highly racial right now, they probably would have gave him a 15-minute, because I've watched videos where they do this sobriety test 15 minutes, 20 minutes max at that point. Then they decide whether you're impaired or not, and then they take you in. At this point, what they're trying to do is they know the state in which we're in right now, so they're being overly cautious. Overly cautious.
I told her, babe, let's go because I'm hungry.
What kind of drinks did you have?
I'm not sure. It's something she ordered.
So now, before, when they asked him about what drinks was he drinking, he kept saying martini. Add some martinis. 1 to 2 martinis. 1.5 martinis. So now, as they're still talking to him, now at this point, he's going to say, I don't remember the drinks I had. At this point, I believe they're dragging it out. It's 41 minutes, man. Well, at this point, it's 40 minutes into the investigation. Well, you want to make sure, because it could be, you still have to go through tests, because Drizzle says, I would have arrested his behind the second time I had to wake him up. I mean, there's still procedures that officers have to go through. They can't just arbitrarily just arrest you because you don't wake. You could be really tired. You could have taken some medication that didn't sit well with you, and it's not that you're driving under the influence, even though that is considered under the influence, but they can make considerations. So they're just trying to see what it is. They're asking questions, because even if you're inebriated, at a certain point, there's still, you're going to tell certain parts of the story. And through them listening to the story, they can kind of put pieces together and see. Okay.
She said top shelf or whatever.
Top shelf what?
I'm not sure. It was, like I said, it was her birthday, and it was my daughter's birthday, intent to, have a good time. And I said, babe, I'm hungry. Let's go.
At this point, I believe the officer already decided I'm going to arrest you.
Oh, my baby's mom, she was there. I said, babe, go ahead. Cool. Here's the money for the blow up bed tomorrow. Here's the money for, to enjoy herself tomorrow. Just, give me a burger or something.
Right.
Just take me home. I'm ready to go.
So you had about 1.5 drinks, but you don't remember what kind of drinks they were?
No, sir.
All right.
I really don't.
All right. I think you've had too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands on your back for me.
So, look at what the officer did. Okay. All right. At that point, he already decided he's going to arrest you. So, he says he doesn't remember, gets his last thought out, and this is what he wants. I want you to see the demeanor of the police officer.
Right.
Just take me home. I'm ready to go.
So you had about 1.5 drinks, but you don't remember what kind of drinks they were?
No, sir.
All right.
I really don't.
All right. I think you've had too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands on your back for me.
So he's grabbing his left arm. I guess it's procedure. And he's going to put the cuffs on him. Now remember, it's been cordial between all three up until this moment. 41 minutes and 28 seconds in. This is where it goes left. Drizzle writes, dude didn't even know what city he was in. Yes, it's true. He thought that he was in Burger King at first. Yeah, he thought he was in many different places. He named like 4 or 5 different counties in Georgia. And the police officer was like, nope, you're not there, you're not there, you're not there. If you want to watch the whole video, you could do that. But we're not going to, go through all of that. What we're going to do is there's a point that I'm trying to make here. There's a point. Let's watch the video.
Here, put your hands on your back.
See, now at that point, everything was cordial. It's not until that second that I guess he realizes you going to the house tonight to sleep it off.
Drinks, but you don't remember what kind of drinks they were?
No, sir.
All right.
I really don't.
All right. I think you've had too much to drink to be driving. Put your hands on your back for me. Here, put your hands on your back. Hey, stop fighting.
Okay. This is my point in which this video pisses me off and gets me angry. It put a disdain taste in my mouth to watch this from the different angles. Okay, so we know that we're living in an environment that at this point, black men are being killed by police officers. These police officers are killing black men. This is why Black Lives Matter comes out. The Reverend Al Sharpton comes out. And all of the different people that come out. My issue is this. Us black people knowing the environment and the state that we're in right now. Why didn't people help these cops subdue this man so that this man would not be killed? Why did they watch? Why did they not help to save this man's life? Okay, the man is impaired. He doesn't know what he's doing. Why did you not help? Why do you watch and pull out your cameras, Why? You watched another brother die, and you want to raise hell. When again, we were in a position to do something. Again, we were in a position to save a life. Again, we were in a position to send a man home to his family. But we didn't. We watched. All too much we watch. All too much we complain. But when we have a chance to do something, we do nothing. Nothing. What we do is pull out that goddamn camera and watch. While another man's life is taken, we watch. You want to see change? Be the change. You don't want to see another brother get shot or another sister get killed? Do something. So now they watch this man fight. Let's continue.
Stop fighting. Stop fighting. You're getting tired.
They hear the police officers telling them stop fighting. There's a line at the Wendy's takeout. You hear the police saying stop fighting. Stop fighting. Yet no one is doing nothing to help. No one is doing anything to stop this before it escalates. This is the problem with black people, man. We want change. We want change. And let me say, this is the problem with black people of today. We want change. We want change. But we don't do a goddamn thing to achieve it. Nothing. You watched another man have his knee put on a black man's neck, and you did nothing. For over 8 minutes and did nothing but complain and complain. But your goddamn guns work when it comes to killing your brother. You have no problem with stepping in when it comes to killing your own. But when it comes to being the change, when it comes to doing good, the only thing that seems to work is your iPhone 12 or iPhone 11, your Samsungs. Those are the only things that seem to work. Getting out your car and helping the police say, you know what, let me help you subdue this dude so we know he's drunk before you put that headlock on him or before you shoot him. Let us help. We do nothing but watch.
You're gonna get tired. Stop, Mr. Ross. Stop, come on, man. Stop. You're gonna get tired, Mr. Ross. That's off the fucking taser.
Telling them, get your hand off the taser. Stop. 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 The people hear this. What they're doing is watching. They need to get that footage. They need to be able to tell the police or tell the news, this is what I saw, instead of you saying, this is what I did to help or to stop this from happening.
Stop the taser. Stop the taser.
Now, I want you to hear something. I'm going to turn the volume up on this. I want you to hear something. Through all of that scuffle and fight, you hear nothing. It's just the cops telling him to stop. I want you to listen.
Stop fighting. Stop the fucking taser. A sticky tree.
You hear the cop? You hear the black guy? What the F, man? He was unarmed. He was unarmed.
A sticky tree.
Listen to him. He was unarmed. He was unarmed. So for at least 20 seconds, you watched a black man scuffle with police officers. For at least 20 seconds. You did nothing to stop it. Nothing. But like black people do, when everything is said and done, what do they say? He was unarmed. What are you doing? Why'd you shoot him? Well, why'd you watch? Why'd you watch? Why didn't you step in and do something? Why didn't you step in and calm that brother down? Why didn't you step in and help the police subdue this man? Because obviously he's inebriated. Obviously he's not in his right mind. So before he does something stupid that's going to warrant his death, why didn't you do something? Why are you so quick to say this after it's done?
A sticky tree.
LaTanya, I know that. We're going to show the whole video. We're going to show the whole thing. We're going to go into all of it. We're going to go into all of it. That's our problem. We don't want to step in when there's a chance to change the narrative. We don't want to step in. What we want to do is complain. That's what we want to do. We want to complain. That's what we do. Way too often, we complain. And here it is, another chance for you to save another man's life. And we don't. Andrew says, if he was intoxicated, you arrest him, not prolong the situation for 40 minutes. Also, I never saw a DUI arrest where the officer asks the individual accused of DUI to move the car. Well, Andrew, like I said, in the environment that we're in right now, these guys are trying to do everything in their power to justify this arrest. I agree with you. It went way too long. I totally agree with you. But in a situation where you have a slew of situations where it's cops against black men, or especially white cops against black men, they're trying to be as to the point and to the book as they can. They want to make sure that this thing right here, you can't say it was racial at all. At all. Drizzle says, now Bolo peep game. They say the cops were picking up shell casings and the cop kicked him. I didn't see that part of the video. I didn't see it neither because the video stopped. I didn't see that part neither because the video stopped. What I'm saying to you, Andrew, is it's like if you're dating a chick, right? And this chick has been done dirty by a dude before you. The normal route that you would take to get to know this woman, you're not going to take that route. You're going to be very particular of how you speak to her, how you touch her, how you come close to her, because of the situation that she just told you that I went through. You don't want to mess this situation up. You like her a lot, and you want her to see who you are as a man.
You don't automatically want to be put into that zone that the other guy was put into. Let's take it to another level. Let's say the woman was raped and you're the first man that she's dating after she's been raped, and you are aware of this information. You're going to be very, very safe with her. Very. That's the climate that we're in right now. Chris says they wanted him to just admit he was drunk, so when they go to arrest, there is less likely to be conflict. He didn't have to. What he did was he was asking the same question the same way, maybe a little bit differently, to show the camera that this man obviously is inebriated, he's intoxicated, and there is it's close shot. The 2 or 3 tests that he ran, he failed them. He wants to go overboard in this situation to make sure that there's no conflict. On that part, I agree with you. So that's why they did this, because of the environment that we're in. I do agree with you, Andrew. I've never seen a 40-minute DUI test or arrest. Never seen it before. But now, with everything that's going on, they want to make sure. That's the attitude that they were in. So now we're going to go to the next video. Okay? Because we have to get this whole thing in its entirety. And remember what I said. We're emotional, we were brought up as emotional creatures. We weren't brought up as spiritual, logistical creatures the way we should have. Because this is not a Floyd situation. This is not. It's far from a Floyd situation. Far from. But the same circumstances where there were black people there, black men there that could have did something, and they chose not to do anything. Same thing here. That's my narrative for tonight. Why do you wait till after the man is dead or shot for you to say something, for you to make your presence felt, for people to know that you exist? You wait for after he's shot? Cowards is what they are. Cowards. All of them are cowards. When you sit there and you say that's the first thing that you're going to do, you're a damn coward. Now, what you see on the video, on the screen, I'm going to blow it up for you. Okay? Now, this is at the point where he's running. Right? So let me back it up a little bit. He's running. Now, I need you to look at the cop's hand. See his hand? Whatever he had in his hand dropped. Look at it again. Whatever he had in his hand, it dropped. The reason why it dropped is because Brooks had the taser in his hand, and Brooks shot the taser. And whatever that white man had in his hand, whether it was another taser or a gun, whatever it was, it dropped. Look at it again.
A day after fatally shooting Rayshard Brooks.
See, it drops. He falls onto the car because he was shot with that taser. LaTanya, that's a very good question. But you know what? People in the line is the one that called. They were the one that called 911. Why didn't they wake him up? Why didn't they go over there and say, okay, man, let us help you before we watch y'all kill another black man? They could have at least said that. I want to see this black man go home to his family. I don't want to see another brother dead. So I'm going to aid you. Maybe if there's 3 of us, we can subdue this man. Because I want this man to live. A DUI, you get a desk appearance, whatever they tell you need to do, whatever classes you need to go to, you go. But the ultimate thing is you live and you go home to your family. That's the ultimate. The ultimate. The next video I'm going to show you is the DA. And I want you to see what's going on. I want you to see the environment that they are creating. The environment that they are creating between the police and us. Okay? You guys choose not to see. You guys choose to keep your eyes closed. If that's what you choose, then whatever you get, you deserve. Whatever you get, you deserve. LaTanya says, why didn't the black men wake him up? Right? I read that already. Chris writes, the Wendy's manager said on the 911 call, she tried to wake him up. I didn't hear that yet. They did. I mean, they could have opened the door. The police guy opened the door. They could have opened the door. I bet you if he was a banging shorty, I guarantee you one of these dudes would have opened that door and helped her out. That was a banging chick. I guarantee you they would have helped him. I guarantee you. I guarantee you it. Guarantee you. And it wouldn't have went down the way it did. They would have made sure to say, yo, you know what, man? You know, this chick is sleeping. Let me wake her up. Ma, you sleeping? Come on, man, where you live? They would have went out their way to make sure she got home safe or didn't get into that situation. So now here's the DA. This is look at the rift that they're creating. Listen to the environment that they're creating.
One of the things that we noted,
and I'm sorry about the sound, man. That's CBS in Atlanta. Sorry about the sound.
Our evaluation was that Mr. Brooks, on the night of this incident, was calm. He was cordial.
At the beginning, he was calm and cordial. We all saw that. Can't deny that.
And really displayed cooperative nature. Secondly, even though Mr. Brooks was prepared, his demeanor during this incident was almost jovial. Also, we noted that he received many instructions from the Atlanta officers, and he was asked many questions. Some of the questions he was asked repeatedly, but for 41 minutes and 17 seconds, he followed every instruction. He
didn't pass the test. He followed their instructions. Now, let me say this. Did the man deserve to die? No. No person deserves to die. My point is this. Here it is. We had another chance to make a difference. Here it is. We had another chance for the village to be the change, for the village to say no more. Because us black men being killed, us black people, period, right? Being killed by these white cops. We don't want to see this happening anymore. And here it is. You have a chance to stop it from happening. And you don't. But soon as the man is put down, the first thing that comes out your mouth, he was unarmed. He didn't have no weapons. Well, why ain't you stop while they were scuffling? Why didn't you get involved then? Why do you wait for the man to be dead for you to say something? That's why I say be the change, man. Because we all want to see change. But we don't want to be the people to change it. We don't want to be the person to change it. When do you want the change to happen? God forbid when it's you. When they got you in a chokehold, is that when you're going to say, damn, somebody help me?
He answered the questions. The fourth thing we noted is that Mr. Brooks was never informed that he was under arrest for driving under the influence.
He was informed. When the police officer came from behind him and said, you're now being arrested for suspicion of DUI. Right when he put the cuffs, he was under investigation. He wasn't under arrest. How can I arrest you without an investigation? So the DA lied there to pander to us, to put that wedge between us and the police. Because don't get it twisted. The police is feeling away right now. This is what the haves are doing. They're creating this environment between us and the police so that we don't focus on them. That's what they're doing. Truth is truth, man. No matter how hard it is to swallow it. Truth is truth. This is not a George Floyd situation. This is not that. You investigate and then you arrest. That's how it goes. Unless someone can call me and tell me different. They went through a DUI investigation. And then when the police officer, in his mind, decided that he was inebriated enough to be arrested for DUI, that's what he told him. He's saying, no, you wasn't. No, he didn't.
And this is a requirement of the Atlanta Police Department. When one is charged with DUI, the Atlanta Police Department's own procedures require that that person is informed immediately that they are under arrest. And then he was grabbed from the rear.
He was not grabbed. The man took his arm and put the cuffs on. Latanya, what would have happened if all of the police went on strike around the world and took a stand? Oh my God. If they did that, black people have a field day in all these Walmarts and all that. You think that they looted before? Don't open that door. The have-nots will go mad. And then you know who they're going to call for? The police. That's what they're doing. They're trying to put you in a militant state, a military state, to the point where we cannot communicate with the police. The police won't communicate with us. It's what they say, and we have to move. That's what they're creating. These are the beginning effects of that. Y'all better open up your damn eyes. Drizzle, you don't want that, brother. You don't want that. You do not want that. Because now you're talking about pandemonium. Now you're talking about when there's no order, they can bust through your door and take what you have. You don't want that. That is stupidity. Now, can the police strike? They probably could. If they do that, martial law will be instituted. I guarantee you that. I understand that you didn't say you want it. What I'm saying to you is in your response, you said they should. Your response is you said that they should. Listen, I'm not a fan of the police neither, brother. But I do understand what truth is. I don't need to be a proponent of a fan of police officers. There are good police officers. All of them are not bad. All of them are not bad. Hell, I've had more white police officers help me than black. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Let's not move emotional. Let's think. See, that's an emotional move. You know, your woman do something and you tell her, get the F out. You really don't want her to leave, but because you wasn't thinking and you moved emotional, you tell her, get the F out, and now she's about to get the F out. In your heart, you know you don't want her to go. You know she's a good woman. Whatever argument you had. We need to start being more logistical, man. We can't be emotional. Damon, right? We would be invaded like in Iraq or Iran. Yeah. And you know who would be invaded by? Our own people, brother. Our own people. They burned down that Wendy's. What did Wendy's have to do with this man being shot? You guys call the police. Someone in that vicinity call the police. What does the Wendy's have to do? All too often are we quick to destroy our own things. Now the next day when people want to go get Wendy's, you can't. You can't. And if I was that Wendy's owner, I wouldn't put it in that neighborhood no more. I'll put it in a white neighborhood. I'm just telling you the truth. As messed up, as hurt as I am to say it, I'm just keeping it a buck with you. The mirror is crazy. Truth hurts. Jizzle right, this man is booked with felony murder. If he go down for the nonsense, they should strike or something. Dogs, listen, they should strike. Listen to what this DA is saying that he could get. Damon right, sorry, but if I tell a woman to go, no emotions involved. She did or said something wrong, so she got to go. I understand that point, Damon, but the point that I'm trying to make to you is way too often, a lot of us as men, we don't think things through. So you might be one of those men that say, okay, for me to tell her to get the F out, I thought it through, and I'm better off by myself than with her. I get what you're saying. What I am saying to you is, as a majority, a lot of us do not think that way. A lot of us are emotional. Okay? Because there are no fathers in the have-nots home. As a majority, there are no fathers. And this transcends black. It's now in white, it's in Asian, it's in the have-nots. Not having a father, you keep that portion of understanding, truth, logistical thinking, you keep that from the child. He writes, I understand, but it is that a man or a man-child? Dogs, there's a lot of men moving around with the mentality emotionally of a child. There's a lot of black, white, Hispanic men that have not had their fathers in their life, and they're moving emotional like children. Yes. That's why you need both. You need the mother and the father. But listen to what they're trying to give this man. Drizzle, listen.
By Officer Roth, who made an attempt to physically restrain him after the 41-minute and 17-second discussion. We concluded and considered it as one of our important considerations that Mr. Brooks never presented himself as a threat.
He never presented himself as a threat. We just showed you a video where a man turned around with a taser and shot it at the dude. Now, did the man warrant to die? I'm going to say no. I'm going to stand on, we should have stepped in before it got to that point. That's my stance. They trying to take his life away. I seen it, Bolo. And it's BS. Brother, they saying that they can give the man the death penalty. Listen to what this DA says. He can get the death penalty, brother. And he did beat the cops down. He did. But listen to what they're saying.
At the very beginning, he was...
When you look at the truth, he did pose a threat, man. He pointed the taser at the cop and shot it and hit the cop. Now, I'm always going to take that stance that I don't believe the man should have died. I don't believe it. But don't lie about it. Don't sit here and say that he didn't know that he was under arrest. He was under investigation. Understand what's going on. Why didn't we step in to help the police? Not because we like the police, but we don't want to see another man die. Why? Because I guarantee you, if this was a white man that they shot, they wouldn't be talking this right now on TV. They wouldn't. Yeah, Damon, it hit the cop if you look closely. He dropped whatever he had in his hand and fell on the car. Yeah. If this was a white man and it was black cops, this wouldn't be on TV right now. We wouldn't be talking about it right now. That's the sadness of it. Let's listen.
Peacefully sleeping in his car after he was awakened by the officer.
They still didn't say anything about him being intoxicated. You notice that? Do you notice how he's not saying anything about him being intoxicated? Peacefully sleeping in the car. He was in the takeout line. Listen to how they're pandering to the people, man. Listen to the rift that they're posing, that they're imposing between the police and the people. And again, let me say this for the record. The man didn't deserve to die for this. No, he did not. I stand on that. But my problem is, why the hell didn't we do something to stop it? Why the hell do we wait after he shot to say something? No one said nothing when they were going through that investigation for 41 minutes or 40 minutes and 23 seconds, whatever it was. No one said nothing. When the scuffle started, no one said nothing. Why didn't anyone get involved to stop it? Knowing that this environment that we're in, black men are being shot. Why do you wait?
He was cooperative, and he was directed to move his car to another location. He calmly moved his car. Mr. Brooks was asked whether or not he had a weapon. He indicated that he did not. Without any resistance, he passed his driver's license to the officers, and the officers then asked Mr. Brooks whether or not he would consent to a pat down or a body search. And Mr. Brooks allowed them to search him, and the search yielded no weapon. We found that it was of interest that when the officers patted Mr. Brooks down, they noticed there was a bulge in his pants. They did not pull that item out of his pocket. They took Mr. Brooks's word that that bulge.
Right. They took his word for it because he said it was money. Obviously, when he pat him down and he felt it, it didn't feel like a gun. Well, he would have pulled it down. This DA is the worst. This DA is the worst. Now, me being a man, if this was my father or my brother or my uncle or my cousin that was shot like this, then I would be all for what the DA is saying. All the inconsistencies in the statement that he's saying and everything that he's leaving out, I would be all for it. But he's wrong for what he's saying. He's wrong. He's leaving out where the man couldn't give a full sentence. He's leaving out where he failed the number test. He's leaving out where they had a conversation about the shoes, Whether it be new shoes, can he walk in the shoes? You want to take the shoes off? Can't remember the drinks he had. He's not saying any of that. None of that to pander to us. And in the same time as he's pandering to us, he's putting a wedge between the people that police us, the have-nots. We better wake up and understand what the bigger game is here, guys. The end game. The end game is this. They want you to keep your eyes level. They don't want you looking up and seeing what they're doing. The haves, that is. This ain't a black and white fight, man. This ain't that. This ain't a fight between the have-nots and the have-nots. This is a fight between the haves and the have-nots. Because of their hatred, anger, malice, selfishness, and serving Satan. That's what this is. Don't think it's anything more. But while they're getting their last hurrah ready, they're making you concentrate on the other hand, the sleight of hand. They're making you concentrate on the hand that you need not concentrate on. My man Damon writes, a judgment to the parents who raise their children in ways that are against God's word. Just right. This man has to get off for this. This is ridiculous. And black people nationwide want to see a cop who did his job locked up over an idiot who decided not to take an L. Damon wants me to read Leviticus 26:22. I shall do that for you, my brother, before we get back to the video. I shall do that for you. (26:22). Let me go next chapter because I hit 25. 26:22. And it reads, and if ye will not be reformed by me, by these things, but will walk contrary unto me. Yeah, here's a bigger thing, right? The Lord tells you, let me get this scripture, what the Lord tells you. Because let me get this scripture for you guys, because we need to understand what's going on here. Come on, man. What's going on here? We need to understand what's going on here. Okay? Because where we're going right now, it's not going to be good for us. It's not going to be good for us. I'm just saying that we need to start understanding what's going on around us, man. We need to stop being so emotional. That's what we need to stop being. And I beg that you guys, that you get it. You know what I'm saying? That we have to get to that point. I'm just trying to get the scripture that I want you guys to read. 22:21. Hold on. This is Matthew's chapter 22, verse 21. Okay, this is Christ speaking. It says here, they say unto him, Caesar's. Then saith unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto God the things that are God's. This is Christ telling you this. These are the laws that are put to rule the land. You're supposed to follow the laws. But here's the bigger picture that I'm going to harp on. We had a chance to stop this from getting to this point. We had a chance to get involved. We had a chance to help the police officers to subdue this man, because this man is inebriated. He's drunk. He's whatever he is. He's under the influence of something. Let's stop before it escalates. And we did nothing. But soon as the man is dropped, that's when a black dude or whatever that dude was wants to say something. He had no weapon, man. When we completely saw he did. The taser. Why didn't you do something before it got to that point, black man? That said that? Because it sounded like a black man. You want me to keep reading Leviticus? Hold on, let me go back to it. Hold on. Yeah, man. This is a hard pill to swallow. But a pill no less that we have to swallow, because we're not doing anything to do anything different. All right, so you wanted me to read 21 and read on. Well, 22. It says, then if you walk contrary to me and will not listen to me, I will continue striking you. This is God speaking. Sevenfold for your sins. And I will let loose the wild beast against you. Wow. I will let loose the wild beast against you, which shall bereave you of your children. Now, for those of you that do not know what bereave mean, let's look it up. Because we like to. It says, but deprive of a loved one through a profound absence, especially due to the loved one's death. So let's go back and read that scripture again. Then if you walk contrary to me and will not listen to me, I will continue striking you sevenfold for your sins, and I will let loose the wild beast against you, which shall bereave you of your children and destroy your livestock and make you few in number, so that your road shall be deserted. I think KRS wouldn't call the sound of the beast. So that was a very good scripture, Damon. Very good. So we are supposed to respect the powers that be. That's what we're supposed to do. It's set up. The Lord set them up. Render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. But here's the bigger thing. I know that all of us sometimes have off days. All of us sometimes get pissed off. All of us sometimes get upset, and things happen. That's life. I get it. Your job as your brother's keeper is that when you see him about to make a fatal mistake, you step in and you stop him. This is the love of the village that we're talking about. You guys are marching burning places down because you want things to stop. But what about you? What about you? What part do you have to play in this? Because it's always easy to look one way. What part do we have to play in this? Step in. Be the change. Stop it.
Represented a number of dollar bills. But Mr. Brooks never displayed any aggressive behavior during the 41 minutes and 17 seconds. Now, this is another important consideration that we discovered as we evaluated this case. Once Mr. Brooks was shot, there is an Atlanta policy that requires that the officers have to provide timely medical attention to Mr. Brooks or to anyone who is injured. But after Mr. Brooks was shot, for some period of 2 minutes and 12 seconds, there was no medical attention applied to Mr. Brooks.
They should be punished for that. Hell yeah, they should be punished for that. If after they subdued him by shooting him 3 times, you're supposed to do CPR, whatever you need to do to try and save the man's life, because ultimately you just wanted to stop him from doing what he did. So for you not to do anything, and again, the video cuts. If what he's saying is true and they did nothing for 2 minutes, then they deserve to get something. Bumble D says the person who called the police, if they were black, that person shouldn't have called the police. Use another method. Well, what method do you suggest that they should have used? Because obviously the spirit in the black community is they don't like getting involved. They like to mind their business. See, that's the difference between other communities and ours. They police their community. When they see something ain't going right, they get involved. In our community, they don't do that. They stay away. Yeah, knowing the environment, I agree with you totally. I agree with you totally. But, however, black people don't like sticking their necks into business unless it gives them, unless it benefits them. After the man was shot, that's when the black man said, why'd you shoot him? He posed no threat. He had no weapons. But while you watch this man fighting these cops, you say nothing. While you watch this man beat these cops' ass, you say nothing. Yeah, I do call-ins. I'll put the link in. Yeah, you can call in, brother. There you go. You do nothing. Right, Latanya. She says because we say it's not our problem. That's our problem. That's our problem. We say it's not our problem. It is our problem. Because that's your brother. That's my brother. And I'm not saying that that's my brother because he's black. I'm saying that's my brother because in Christ, I'm supposed to love all. I don't want to see a man die shamelessly, foolishly, for stupidity. Something could have been done to save this man's life. But we too much watch what happens, and we're too glued to our goddamn phones because we want the best angle. Put your phone down and go and help. Put your phone down and be that change. Yeah, that man shouldn't have been killed. Well, why didn't you do something to stop him from being killed? Why? When do we say no more? When do we say it? When? That's our problem. Let's finish watching the video.
But when we examine the videotape and in our discussions with, what we discovered is during the 2 minutes and 12 seconds that Officer Roth actually kicked Mr. Brooks while he laid on the ground.
Now that part of the video they didn't show. We didn't see that part. Obviously, they're keeping that part away. I haven't seen it, and I searched for this video for about an hour. All different angles. I haven't seen it. So if someone has that video, please email it to me where he kicked Mr. Brooks. Please email me at bolotv16@gmail.com. If he did that, then he does. That puts a whole different narrative on what's going on. If he did that, then he deserved what he gets, because not only did you shoot the man, you're supposed to subdue him, right? So you thought shooting him was justifiable. Cool. But after the man is subdued, you're supposed to apply CPR because you don't want to kill him. You just did that to stop him. Now, at this point, you kick him? Yeah, you deserve what you get at that point. I got my man Damon in the place. What's going on, baby?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Talk to me.
What I was saying on the situation was from the Bible. It surprised me when I saw the scripture talking about how if you don't listen to God and you go away from his commandments, that God caused the beasts of the field to come and devour the children.
If you read the New Testament, it goes further than that. When you read the New Testament, there's a reason why Christ. Okay, well, you brought it up, and let's entertain this perspective. And I'm glad you brought it up. Right, I'm very glad you did. The Spirit of the Lord made you bring it up. So we're in this predicament because we didn't listen to the Lord, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the Lord set up the government, because that's why the Lord says, render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, because the Lord set up Caesar as our taskmaster, correct?
Yes.
So let me give you this example. If you're in a jail, in a prison, and the warden tells you, check this out, my man, all of these towers has police in it with guns. You try to climb over these towers, there is no warning shot. They're taking you out. Do you understand? You understand now? Now,
yes.
If you go beyond, now you got 20 years to do. If you try to alter the 20 years that you have to do, then whatever happened, you trying to escape that penitentiary, you deserve, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so God set up the haves over us because we did not listen to him. That's why Christ tells you in the scriptures, render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar and render unto God what belongs to God. These guys are our taskmasters, period. We know that it's going to be unfair in this world. We know it. Why are you adding any more heat to you when you know that it's going to be like this? I already know. That's why I keep telling you guys that this is not a physical fight. It's a spiritual fight.
Oh, yeah, I know. Everything started in the spiritual and manifests in the physical.
Everything. But see, the way the haves had brought us up by taking the fathers out of the home, they've kept us emotional.
Oh, yes. So we're raised by...
Exactly. So now when you try to explain what is going on, this is what they want you to do. They're creating this narrative for you to move the way they want you to move. So if this dude here got you, he got you. Now, again, like I said, the brother's inebriated. The brother is drunk. So he may not be in his right mind. Why the hell are we watching this go down? Why are we not getting involved to stop this black man so another one isn't killed? Why?
Fear of the outcome of what's to happen going against the police. Fear.
But you're not going against the police. What you're doing is when you see this man fighting In the environment, like Bumble D said, the environment that we're in right now, why wouldn't you say, you know what? Let me get out my car and help these police subdue this black dude. Because if he does something stupid, they're going to plug him like they did. Why don't we get involved? That's my issue.
But you'll see white people get involved. I've seen many videos where white people go and help them and subdue them. The black people, we have this narrative in our mind where we don't snitch, we don't get involved. I grew up in DC. Okay, I grew up in DC and I'm in Texas now. I moved away from DC. I had a situation where something told me to go to the window. I saw a girl getting abused by her boyfriend. The whole police said go out there and beat this guy up, and I didn't know why. It told me to stand there. I stood there, watched, and all of a sudden, 3 of his homeboys rolled up in a car from one of the worst streets on DC, and I could have been out there beating this guy. They would have came over and shot me. I called the police for her. They showed up fast. I didn't understand how fast they showed up. It was incredible. They asked her, did you need help and everything? He was smacking and beating this girl. She told them, no, I'm fine. He ended up walking her into a house. I'm sorry, baby, and all this. If I would have walked out there and helped this woman, I would have gotten shot and killed. And she still would have been sleeping with this guy, doing whatever she wanted to do. Okay, because of these experiences in the black neighborhood, you don't want to help these women and these different things and black folks because no one's going to tell. I had an uncle shot broad daylight, 3 o'clock p.m., broad daylight in the head. No one snitched, no one told. On a busy street, buses running by, everything. I've seen too many circumstances where in the black neighborhood, we don't want to snitch. The thing is snitch. Snitching to me is I do a crime with you and I tell on you, even though I did the crime with you. Telling that I saw a crime is not snitching. That's not snitching. And we have this whole street code thing confused, and we're raised on this stupidity of what's snitching and don't tell and don't call the police. But many black people call the police. Many black women do.
You definitely right. But let me address the first example you gave. The first example that you gave when it comes to, watching a black woman being physically accosted by a black man and you getting involved in that. My parents told me never get involved in a love spat. Never get involved in that. If it gets to a point where it's getting outrageous, then you call the police or you do whatever you need to do. This situation is not that. This is not a situation where it's 2 black people fighting and you don't want to get involved because you know what the code of the street is. They might think that you're jumping in, or they might think that you're sleeping with this chick, or whatever the situation might be. This ain't that. This is distinctly white police officers killing black men and black women. Okay? It doesn't seem that our lives are important when we kill each other. When we shoot each other, I don't see Black Lives Matter come out. I don't see Reverend Al's sharp ass come out. I don't see none of these things broadcast on TV. I don't see none of this.
I'll try again because I don't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now? Okay, you don't call back in. So none of these things are done. But it seems that when a white cop kills us, this is the narrative that the haves have been waiting for. This is the narrative that they wait for so that they can push their agenda to keep us from looking at them. This is what they wait for, and this is why they press it. There we go. And this is why they press it. You know what I'm saying? What I said before was that this is the agenda of the haves. Because when blacks kill blacks, you don't see Black Lives Matter come out. You don't see Reverend Al Sharpton come out. You don't see the news come out. No. None of these people come out. Only when a white man kills us. Our lives are only important when a white man shoots us, not when we shoot each other. We don't have the wherewithal to say, damn, you know what? Maybe we need to stop shooting each other and killing each other. These things like Black Lives Matter, which was started by a white man and funded by a white man, started by a white man and funded by a white man.
Yeah.
Okay? Not by black people, white people. It seems that they are the puppeteer and we're the puppet. And wherever they beat, or wherever the way they nudge us to go, we go willingly. We don't think about, damn, why is this happening? We just move.
Why does it happen? Because our
No,
school system from way back then has we don't push our free thinkers. There's not too many free thinkers. Even with our college, we don't to think for themselves and to research and find out what's really going on. It's believe the news media because they'll tell you the truth. Believe magazines. Believe anything TV tells you is to believe that that's the truth. There's not many programs and systems intact to create free thinkers, especially free thinkers from the perspective of God's word. No, it's the world's definition of what's going on.
And see, and this is the thing that we need to understand. That you need to understand this, that the world, the haves, what's going on right now, they're tapped into their spiritual source, which is Satan.
Yes.
They're tapped into it. Our problem is we're trying everything else but the Father. We're trying to march. We're trying to vote. We're trying to do all of this stuff, but we're not doing what the Father tells us to do.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead, man.
Do you think these things are strange? What you're saying?
No,
Do you think?
No. The scriptures tell you that these things are to happen. The scriptures tell you that.
Yes, because it tells you it gets like the days of Noah, right?
Well, it gets like the days of Noah, and in Matthews it tells you. And my brother and I were going through this the other day, where it says that these things are going to happen. These are the signs of the last days.
Yes, birth pains of things to come.
Yeah, it goes very deeper into it. Yeah, the birth pains, but it's so it goes so into it that it's crazy.
Oh, I understand that. Yeah, Revelations talks about the things and the signs and the seals and things to come to let you know that the end time is coming. Yeah, I understand that. But
let me get the scripture that I'm talking about, because here, let me get it. Hold on.
While you're getting it, but because the thing that is strange to me is I'll talk to different Christians and they see these times and see these things happening and they're fearful of it and they think the world's going crazy. And I'm like, the Bible talks about it's supposed to get like the days of Noah. You as a Christian should not see these things as strange. Christ in the Bible, even in Daniel, it talks about these things are supposed to come. If you're a Christian, you're not supposed to be estranged to these things or think these things are something wrong. It's supposed to come to these days. We don't come to the days of peace where Jesus Christ comes back on a white horse by everybody being good and peace coming on earth. It gets to the days like Noah, when God says, I'm going to destroy the earth. He won't do it by water anymore. Now to be done by fire.
Yeah. But see, everything that the Lord has done, because there's nothing new under the sun.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So everything, the Lord is repetitive. He shows you, dude, I did it with Noah. I gave the warning signs. I gave y'all 40 years to get y'all act together, and none of y'all are doing it. So when that day came, you know what I'm saying? There is no judgment. There is no going through it. Judgment is on you now. Right?
Yeah,
so this is Matthew's.
It goes back to the saying that if you fail to remember your history, you're destined to repeat it.
There you go. This is Matthew's chapter 24, verse 21. We'll start at 21. It says, "For then shall be a great tribulation, such was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if a man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch, if it were possible, that they would deceive the very elect." Right? When you read above that, starting at verse 6, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So although you hear wars and rumors of wars, the end ain't here yet. "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of nations for my name's sake. So we're at that point. Do I believe we're at that point? Yeah, the birth pains. The birth pains. So here's the thing. We need to understand that we have to render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So again, like I said before, people have bad days. There might be a day that things just didn't go well for me, and the police officer stopped me and I'm getting belligerent and whatever. Your job as my brother, as your brother's keeper, and again, this transcends black or white, your job is to calm me down so that I don't get killed.
Yes.
That's your job. So all those men that was watching this man fight these cops for at least 15, 20 seconds, you could have got involved. You could have got involved to save this man's life. Who would have stopped you? No one. If you're saying to the cops, listen, I'm getting involved because I don't want to see this black man killed, so I'm going to help you subdue it because obviously the two of you can't handle this guy. So let me at least try to help. Go ahead, brother.
But that goes back to our culture. That goes to our culture of what's going on today. We're quick to turn on a camera. So I've never turned on a camera and recorded something like that. I was born in 1975. I'm from the old school, different ways and different times. And the things I see now, they're not strange to me because I know the Bible. But people are quick to turn on the camera. People go and help and assist the cops, and I've seen black people. I've seen one or two. I'm not gonna say I haven't seen any. I've seen one or two black officers or black people help the officers subdue a person. But if you listen to the video, you see where the people recording were saying you're wrong for this, you're wrong for that. When you see the cops being very overly nice to this man, trying to assist this man, talk to him, and he was in the wrong. And the people who were recording, when they started chasing him, everything, you hear the black people in the background say, man, you're wrong for that. You're bothering him, as if he had done no wrong, beating the police, taking the taser, tasing the cop, and running.
Now,
they act like there's no wrong.
Now, if that would have been said to me, my response would have been, I just saved this man's life.
Yeah.
That's my response be. Yeah, listen, I don't think he should go to jail. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, let me retort that statement. I don't think he should be killed.
No,
for what
I don't think
he just did. So what I'm trying to do is stop this man from dying, because way too much we sit down and watch what happens to our people, and it's done in our neighborhoods. This don't happen in white neighborhoods, because the white man is going to come out and be like, all right, police officers, y'all tuned them up enough. We're going to stop now.
Yeah.
This don't happen in Asian neighborhoods, Italian neighborhoods, because they're going to come out and say, yo, check this out. Y'all not doing this no more. Now, what you're going to do is put the man in the back of your car, and we're going to follow you to make sure that he gets to the precinct safely. We don't do that.
Yeah, that's the difference between the black community and the other communities. We have been programmed to think the police are all bad, but most black women, when they get into a situation, they're quick to call on the black man. You see the programming that's going on. They'll say F the police, but then call the police quick on a black man in a heartbeat. So that's kind of contradictory to what in the world they're trying to live by, and all the music that's programming them to say police are bad, they're against us, the whole system against us. We as black people, and like I said, when I lived in DC, and I'm ex-military, and I'm an ex-military brat. I've lived in Maryland, DC, Virginia, Washington State, Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Alabama. I've lived many different places and experienced many different things. And when I talk to people about this, sometimes the stories I tell them, they think it's not true, but I have experienced so many different things where I see in many of these low-class black communities, we have been programmed to think these stupid things and go against the narrative as far as trying to help our own people. We big up the things that go against trying to help our communities. Like you say, in the white communities, in the Asian communities, and other communities, they don't have these type of things going on because the people care about what's going on in the community. In most black communities,
but let me say this to you too, Damon. We can't even say anymore black communities. Because in our
Yeah,
communities now, it's so mixed now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That it's not even
it's worldwide.
Right. It's worldwide. So that's, I'm saying it to say that this systematic attack that they're doing to us, it's no longer just black. I was watching a video the other day where they killed a white dude the same way. I was just watching on Facebook where they choked out a white woman.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you this question. If you were a white cop, okay, and they called you and you got a 911 call and you know that this is a black neighborhood that you're going into, what would you do?
Because of the narrative, because I've lived in some of the worst black neighborhoods and everything, I'd be more so guarded and more watchful about what's going on, who's around me, because of my own experience.
But here's the thing too, right? But here's the thing too. Will they even come into your neighborhood?
I've seen where it takes longer in certain neighborhoods where they will come.
That's my point.
Yeah, in DC, 4th of July, and
no, I'm not talking about on holidays. With this narrative right now, that this DA says that they can offer him life imprisonment or death penalty. Now, again, I didn't see the video of him not doing CPR for 2 minutes and 15 seconds, like he said, and I didn't see the portion of the video where he kicked him. Now, if he did that, then he deserved it. Then that means you shooting him wasn't about you just trying to stop the initial danger.
Okay, but I think we have to omit that because, like you said, we don't know that. We're going off of hearsay.
But that's what I'm saying. They're saying that they have no. They're saying that they
acted very nicely with this man.
No, they're saying they have video of.
Well, they need to show that video.
That's what I'm saying. If he did that, then again, that changes the narrative, right? 2 seconds of a video can change the whole story.
2 minutes, if they kicked that man and they didn't try to administer CPR, yes,
they deserve it.
I can say you deserve charges.
But from what I'm watching, from what I watched, omitting that 2 minutes, we should have stepped in and saved that man's life.
When you have many people watching going through the drive-through, yes, many people could have.
We should have stepped in.
But this is the thing. You say you could have stepped in, okay? I've been in a crucial situation where my life was on the line. I was looking at life, and those seconds of when he went from they were talking, it was funny, and then when they try to arrest him, he gets belligerent. Those seconds right there. Who could have involved themselves in those quick seconds? Who could have actually ran over there and tried to help subdue him when it was all him beating the cops and everything? Those are seconds, man.
I've been in situations where I've seen a little girl about to drown, and everyone is watching, and no one's done nothing. And I dived into the water and brought her to the top.
Okay, yeah.
So it can be done. But what I'm saying is, with the environment that we're in right now, Damon, the environment that we're in right now, okay, we have to think that way. See, what you're saying right now is an emotional thinker, a person that thinks like you and I, that thinks logistically and think in the spirit, are always looking for that time to help someone if it's possible for us to do that. We're always looking for that. You know what I'm saying? I'm driving and I see someone parked on the side with their hazards. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. All right, man, have a good day. And I keep it pushing. That's
funny. That's funny you would say that because my mother told me about this 2 weeks ago. She said somebody had stopped in the middle of the street and she drove by and saying, these people out here drive crazy. And I said, Mom, you don't know if that person's going through a medical emergency. Back up and find out if they're doing okay. She's like, what? I said, you don't know. Something could be happening to them. I said, who stops and parks in the middle of a highway, a 4-lane highway? Who does that?
Of course.
Yeah. But
you don't know if that man's woman is pregnant and he's rushing to the doctor. You don't know. And that's the point. When we think emotionally out of fear, like you brought up earlier, it makes you think the worst of people. But go ahead.
But that's the thing. You said the spirit. if you're not transformed, if you're
That's
not
my
receiving
point.
Jesus,
But that's my
if you don't
point.
have the Holy Spirit, you don't. How can you expect them to change if you
This,
don't have that?
I'm going to tell you how. It starts with conversations like you and I are having. It starts with having over 600 people on this channel, right? It starts with conversation. It starts with you looking in the mirror and saying, damn, you know what? I'm the issue. It has to start with me. I didn't like that feeling of not doing nothing while I was watching that woman get her ass beat. I didn't like that feeling. I need to do something, because God forbid, if it's your woman, your daughter, your mother, your aunt, you're going to want someone to do something if you're not around to help protect her. You have to be that change. You have to be that change that you want.
I'm more so with that because of my experience. Like I said, I could have stepped out in the street to help that woman get abused.
Right. Well, I said I think the thing that you did was the right thing. Call the police.
No. I didn't step out there, because if I would have stepped out there, it's like the Holy Spirit stopped me. If I would have stepped out there, I've been shot by those 3 thugs that rolled up on him saying, "Hey man, what's up?"
I agree.
Okay, the Holy Spirit stopped me. So a lot of times in these situations, it's sorry to have to say this, but I go with Tommy Sotomayor's viewpoint. If I'm seeing you now, my whole thing has changed. If I'm seeing, and I know it's a ratchet woman, because we have where I'm living at, I got ratchet women around here. They'll do things, say things, and it's like, I'm not going to get myself involved in your ratchery, because I don't live my life.
Ratchery. Well, that's why I said, see, in situations like that,
or get attacked because you involve yourself in things I don't involve myself in.
But see, that's what I'm saying to you, Damon. What I'm saying to you is, in situations, that's why I told you, my mom's told me, do never get involved in a fight between the husband and wife. Yeah. What I would, in a situation like that, what I would do, I just call the police. Yo, listen, man, there's some people next door fighting, doing that, and I'll let the cards lie, fall where they fall. I'm not speaking on situations like that. We're not talking about that. That's a whole different story.
But even in those situations, you don't know what that woman has done to that man, and you say you call the police.
I'm saying to you is, I don't know, so I'm gonna err on the side of precaution than me not doing anything. I'm not gonna get involved. I'm just gonna call the police and say, listen, before this dude shoots something and that bullet goes through the wall and hit my daughter or hit me, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna call the police. I'm not gonna get involved.
I agree with that.
All right, so
I've had to do that around where I live at now. There's a woman around who gets drunk and she cusses her man out. But see, if I in that situation, if I call the police on the situation, and I know from talking to this man and talking to his woman, she's a drunk, she gets belligerent, she cusses the man out, and she's sat out here before when he said, "Baby, just come in the house." She started to scream and holler like he's beating her. I'm sitting there watching. The man's not beating her. He wants her to get off the street and stop embarrassing him and her. But she screams like he's beating her. If I call the police, then that man's going to jail because he's dealing with a belligerent woman. Now, in that situation, you brought that stuff on yourself, man, because you're dealing with this type of woman you need to get away from.
Damon, what you're doing is you're bringing more points into a narrative.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Gotta go back out and come back in.
Call back in. Go out and call back in. See, what Damon is doing is he's adding more to the story to make it plausible for him not to call. In a situation like that, where you have a man who argues with this woman, here he goes. Okay, Damon. All right, what you're doing is you're adding more to this narrative to fit the point that you're trying to paint. If I know that this dude's woman always argues, she's always drunk, whatever, then of course I wouldn't call the police in that situation. I agree with you. I would not. But we're not talking. But here's the thing. What we're doing is comparing apples and oranges. We're not talking about that. What we're talking about is the environment right now is police is killing black men and black women unjustifiably. Okay? That's what they're doing. So what I'm saying to you is we just saw a video a few weeks ago of a black man handcuffed and a white man has his knee on his neck till he passes out and dies in a black neighborhood.
We can't just put it on black. There's a larger number of white.
What I'm saying to you is I'm talking about the narrative of the environment that we're in right now.
Oh, I understand that.
The environment that we're in right now is I don't want to see this black man get his life taken. Okay? I don't want to see his life get taken. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get involved to help so that he doesn't get his life taken. I'm not going to open my mouth and be that dude that's talking now after you shot him, like that black dude was. Why'd you shoot him? He was unarmed. Why are you talking now? Through the whole scuffle, you said nothing. Nothing you said. For the 15 to 20 seconds of that fight, you said nothing. Even after he ran, you said nothing. It's not until he got shot you said something.
Yeah, you said something, yeah.
Why didn't you say something before that? If you got the balls enough to, because obviously he got out of his car, he probably stood away from the cops, but walked towards the situation. You should have did something before it escalated to that. That's the point.
But that's the thing, though. That's the thing, Bolo. It didn't escalate until they tried to put the cuffs on him. Everything was cool, calm, and nice.
I understand. What I'm saying to you is there was enough time for black people to stop that fight after it escalated. That's what I'm saying to you.
No, watch the video. No, bro, I would agree with you, but that stuff happened so fast, man.
How fast did it happen? My G, they scuffled for about 5. Listen, the scuffle didn't happen for 2 seconds. If you watch the video, they fell on the floor twice.
Oh, okay. You say in between that time they should have came over.
In between the fighting point is what I'm saying. I'm not talking about when it jumped off. When it jumped off, no one saw that coming.
No one saw it coming.
Right. I'm talking about between him fighting, the scuffle. There was times, Duke, they scuffle for about 15 seconds.
Okay, but this is my thing then too, to add on to that, okay?
Go ahead. Yeah.
If that man would have never, ever resisted arrest, would we even have to ask somebody to intervene?
No.
Okay, so why are we as black men on this stupid trip of fighting in the streets what we need to fight in the courts and getting ourselves
I agree.
killed?
I totally agree with you. 100%. I totally agree with you 100%. Here's my position on that. My position is I listen to black music. I listen to hip hop. In hip hop, our guns have 50 clips, 100 clips. The guns weigh 100 pounds. We kill 50 million people. We'll run through your house. We'll burn down trees. We'll burn down buildings. When it comes to black people, my point is, why are you not taking that same position and saying, you know what, we're not going to allow our black men to die anymore? Why are you not taking that position to say, you know what, these cops are here, they're doing what they're doing? For 41 minutes, they had this black man hemmed up. That was more than enough time, because I don't know if you heard the last stream I had where I said we need to police our communities and put a 1-800 number out. So now, when you got this black man hemmed up in Wendy's, if you got that 1-800 number up, you call up Crime Watch. What's up? Yo, there's something going on at the Wendy's. We pull up to make sure everything goes down safely. If he's deemed DUI, arrest him, put him in the car, and you go off. This is what white neighborhoods do. They have Crime Watch. So when something gets out of hand, they get involved to make sure that it doesn't end up where someone is dead. That's my point. My point is we stand idly by, okay, and say, why is it that Trayvon Martin is followed in a white neighborhood? Why is it that Aubrey is followed in a white neighborhood? Because these guys have Crime Watch. Now, I'm not saying Trayvon Martin was doing something wrong. Neither was Aubrey. I don't know. What I'm saying to you is, if we had Crime Watch in our neighborhoods, when something don't look right, we gonna question it. We gonna pull over and be like, yo, my man, what's going on? Dog, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's been homes being robbed on this block. What are you doing on this block, my G?
But you know, in the black neighborhoods, we don't do that, man.
That's my point. But right now you have black people picketing because they're saying we value our life. If you value your life, what I'm saying is, that's my point. If you value your life like you say you do something so that this does not happen again. That's my point.
Do you think we're going to do that with all the rioting?
No.
So what is the solution? What is the solution? How do we?
The solution is to incorporate the Father in your life. The solution is understanding.
But Bolo, listen, Bolo.
I'm listening.
Okay, this started years back. Okay, this started years ago, and I'm gonna break it down how we got to the fatherlessness. Okay,
welfare.
We got there because once they removed God, the Ten Commandments out of the courts, we removed God out of the schools. We made it to where you can come in there with a Satanist shirt and can't wear anything Christian. If you remove the spiritual aspect, and we already said that first thing happens is everything's happening in the spirit and manifests in the physical. Once you remove God, then it was easy to remove the physical father. You remove the spiritual father, it's easy to remove the physical father. That is not going to reverse. That is how we get to the days of Noah. So I'm saying,
but my job, Noah's job, through all of that, what you're saying, Noah's job was still to cry and sigh for the abominations that be done on the earth. That was Noah's job. Noah's job was to still tell the people what you're doing is wrong. This is what you need to do to make sure you get right. This is how you get right. And this is the steps that we need to take to get right. That's what Noah did. That's our jobs also. Our jobs is to stand at the end of the corner and say, y'all better get right. And this is how we do it. Now, whether they listen or not, that's not my business. That's God's business. The Lord said, many are called, but few are chosen.
Yes. So basically it's saying, okay, in these days, okay, to tell the Christian people or the people who follow the Lord, whatever you want to call yourself, we are to go and to separate, as God's talking about separating the wheat from the tares. There's wheat out there. There's a harvest to be made.
What I'm saying to you is this. The Lord tells you, render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Anyone in the spirit is going to know that the Lord put us here for slavery. The Lord put us here for punishment because we didn't listen to him. So when you go against the powers that be that the Lord set up, there's a punishment that you have to pay. Yeah, this is why that's why Christ distinctly told you, render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, because you're going into a place where you're going to be put into slavery. So when you go against what I set up, you're going against God.
Yes.
So when the police stop you and ask you for your license, give them your license. When the police say this, take the L. I'd rather you take an L and we pay a fine than take the L and I have to bury you.
No, I totally agree on that.
Right. So the point of me saying this and all the other truthers like Tommy and Brian and Just Jay and all these guys that are Michi X that are kicking truth is about, let's stop being emotional and start being more logistical and spiritual and understand what's going on around us. Don't just be so quick to jump. This is not a Floyd situation. So the same anger that we took with Floyd need not be applied here. Now, if the video shows what that DA just said, at 2 minutes and 15 seconds, no CPR was applied and he kicked him, then rock out. Then yes, this is a Floyd situation because you didn't just want to stop him. You wanted to kill the man. If you picked up the shells after you shot him, this was a situation of you wanting to kill him.
But now, like I said, they haven't released that video. We're going on.
That's why I said if.
Have to go on what they were showing us.
That's why I said if a spiritual man tries to cover all positions, you have to look at every situation panoramically. This DA, I don't think, would just come out and say that we've analyzed video where 2.5 minutes, there has to be video for you to be so specific to say 2 minutes and 15 seconds, they did not apply any CPR. And then he kicked him. There has to be video for you to be that specific. Because if there is no video, how the hell can you say 2 minutes and 15 seconds? You can't. So there has to be. So,
but if you also listen to the DA, he also lied many times.
I agree with you. I agreed with you.
So why am I supposed to believe him?
Let me tell you why. Because if that 2 minutes and 15 seconds and that kick does exist, that changes the narrative of why this man was killed. That's what I'm saying to you. It's like if you come in there and you see a child and this child is telling you, I didn't steal. No, he's saying you, I stole because I was hungry. I stole because I was hungry. He's pulling on your heartstrings, right? So you're going to be like cooler, right? But let's just say that day when he stole from your store, you decided to follow him. And you followed him, and this dude lives in a goddamn mansion. That changes the whole narrative now. Now you ain't looking at him like, oh, this dude was hungry. No, this dude is stealing because he want to steal. Let him come see. I let him go this time. That's my point.
Yeah,
so
sympathy goes out the window.
Right. So what I'm saying to you is if that 2 minutes and 15 seconds does exist, again, I don't think this man would come on TV and lie. Again, he could. He could. I'm not telling you he couldn't. That's why I said I think. If he comes out and there is no 2 minutes and 15 seconds, he's finished as a DA. He's finished. But if there is, that changes the dynamic of this man killing him. Because not only did you shoot this man, listen, you're supposed to use lethal force to stop the situation, to stop the problem. Once you stop the problem, you then apply CPR because my job wasn't to kill you. I didn't come out here to say I'm going to kill you. The situation that I interpreted needed me to shoot you. Now,
but in that video, as many times in that whole video, got violent. You see that they did not. They were angry.
All right, but listen to what I'm saying to you. That's why I'm trying.
Because you're saying that.
I guess you can't hear me.
No, I can hear you.
All right, that's what I'm trying to say to you. My point, that's why I'm trying to give you both perspectives, right? If I'm just a man that's a police officer, and I come out, I'm not thinking I'm going to kill somebody today, right? But if I'm sitting there saying, you know what, man, I want to kill me a cracker today. The hell with that. Now, I know I got cameras on me, right? I know I got cameras on me. So I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that it looks like I'm talking to you very earnestly, very politely. And then when I get to that point where I say, all right, man, I'm arresting you, I'm hoping you do something stupid. Now that you did something stupid, I'm going to say what police officers say. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Now, remember, in my heart, I already had that I'm going to kill a cracker today, right? So now, when it gets to that point where I shoot you 3 times, I'm going to pick up my gun, my bullet casings. I'm going to not apply CPR, and then I'm going to kick you. Okay? Now, if I'm a man that didn't come out there with malice in his heart wanting to hurt anybody, and this same situation happened, I didn't want to end your life. I wanted to stop you from hurting me. So now I'm going to apply the CPR. I'm going to call the 911. I'm not going to kick you. There's no need for me to pick up my guns because there's my bullets, because there's 3 holes in you. They're going to ask where did the 3 holes come from? I have nothing to hide if my spirit is true. So now if this dude did do what this DA is saying, then he deserves it. Because you took a man's life. You probably could have saved him with the CPR. You chose not to do it. And not only did you not, you kicked him. That's if he did that. If he didn't do that and this DA is talking nonsense and he's lying, then 1, that DA is going to be fired. And 2, they should release the police officer. They should. So from the video that we're watching right now, we don't see that. We don't see where the police officer was being belligerent. We see him being extremely polite, whatever, telling him to stop. That's what we see. What we need to see is that last 3-minute video. That's what we need to see. Now, once we see that, that changes the whole narrative, my man. If I shot you 3 times, I picked up my bullet casings, I didn't give you CPR, and I kicked you in your head, should I not deserve life?
I mean, if that video evidence exists,
right? That's the point. All right.
But then it's strange how they release all the other video, but don't release that. That's the strange thing.
Listen, that's a good point. But that's what I'm saying. But see, as spiritual people, what do? We wait for all the evidence to come out, and then we make our judgment call. We don't make our judgment call under duress or under being emotional. You know what I'm saying? Again, we're human. We're going to cry. We're going to hurt. We're going to do that. But what does the Lord tell you? Don't make no decisions when you're angry, G. Chill.
No.
You wait for that to pass. Now, when you're in a clearer thought process, because remember, when you're angry, the body releases adrenaline, dopamine. You ain't thinking correctly. You're not thinking. How many times have you?
I'm not gonna say you're not thinking correctly unless you've been trained to. I'm military trained, so
well, that's different. That's different.
I've been trained to. I've had to go through scenarios where.
But that's you, Damon. That's you.
Yeah.
You're
I don't know. I don't know what they've been trained to do.
Right, but what I'm saying to you is, I'm just talking in general.
Yeah.
As you and I speaking, you and I, not military, not police. You and I speaking. Before we jump to the judgment of saying that this guy is like Chauvin, we have to see all the evidence presented. Now, once it's presented, and it does, and if there is a video that shows what this DA is saying, and again, I'm not going to think that this DA is going to be so specific and not have a video. You dig what I'm saying? Because listen, I'm not saying it can't. I'm not saying it can't happen.
He got lied a lot. He lied a lot through his statement. So
he did.
I hope they show the video and they can show that the guy kicked him and they didn't give him CPR, and then it turns into something else.
Good point. Latanya said, "How come the people that filmed the video haven't released that?" That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good. Listen, that is a good point, bro.
About the whole situation, about how he talked about how he was being all nice and everything, and it was funny, but he doesn't talk about how the police gave him time after time and even let him drive the car knowing he's drunk. Park the car over here, talk to you, listen to your lies about it went from a margarita to a daiquiri, from a daiquiri to a margarita, to finally it goes to a hard liquor. He just kept lying. Then he talked about his sister was his girlfriend, his girlfriend was his wife. Everything, it was a whole bunch of lies.
Listen, I believe that the cops were being overly cautious because of the environment that we're in right now.
Yeah, I mean, they have to take care of themselves, but you see where we at now.
Listen, I understand. Yes, I understand. That's why I think they did it. They know they're in a black neighborhood, and they know that they're, of course, and they're being watched. That's why it took 40 minutes, because usually a DUI test don't take no 40 minutes.
Don't take that long. No.
15 minutes, maybe 13 minutes. They look at certain, they talk to you and they see you slurring. They see that you can't do that walk. They see that you can't keep your finger, they keep their finger in your face and you can't follow. After that, my man, listen, you're intoxicated, such and such, or whatever. I got it. Okay. I believe in this environment that they were being very overly cautious to make sure that there is no way that you can say it was racist or prejudice or anything. And unfortunately, this happened. So listen, again, I hope that, again, I hope that's not the case, that they could have saved this man and they chose not to. I hope that's not the case, because if that is the case, then we're in for it again. We're in for it.
Let me because I have
I'm gonna give you a last word, brother. I'm gonna give you a last word.
Yeah, I've not been holding you too long, man. But this is the thing, okay. Would you blame them if, after being cordial with him, being as nice as they were, taking all that time, and this man ends up beating them, tasing one of the police officers, if they acted human and were mad about getting beat, taser taken, after being so nice to him and giving him all the time in the world to tell the truth and everything, that they did not help him or that they kicked him, could you not see the police officers being upset about trying to give this man a chance to come forward, straight truth with the, and tell the truth, and then attacking them, beating them, overpowering them, taking the taser, tasing one cop? Could you not see how they would act as human and maybe say, okay, we're not helping them? I mean, because how many videos have you seen where police shot someone and they gave them CPR? I haven't seen too many.
Me neither. Well, let me answer that question you just asked. The answer to that question is this. You are a police officer. You are supposed to be you are trained the same way you said, being in the military. You are trained.
It's not like military training.
I got you. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
They need more training,
whether it's as intensive or not. You chose to be in the profession of policing people, which means you have to be a lot more malleable in situations where you don't let your emotions get the best of you. So again, you got your ass whooped. and and you put the man down. For you not to help him because you're upset and pissed off, yeah, you deserve life in jail. Yes. If you did that because you figured this dude just whipped my ass, me and my partner's ass, and I'm angry and I'm pissed off and I'm not going to help this dude because of what he is, you deserve life. You do. You deserve it. Because your job is not to be vengeful. This is the type of business you're in. I'm in the type of business that I can get shocked. If I'm an electrician, I can get shocked. I can't get pissed off all the time. You know how upset, you know, when I watch these people go and they deal with fish and then the fish will bite their leg off or whatever, and these people are not upset at the fish because they understand the environment they put themselves in. This is what I signed up for. There's a chance this shark can eat my arm off.
Yeah, nature of the beast.
Nature of the beast. But thank you, brother.
All right, thank you, man.
And thank you for the support, man. I appreciate you.
No problem.
All right. That was my man Damon up in the place. So, listen. You know, we went on longer than I wanted to, but we need to understand. Let me read some of the comments first. Latania's writing a lot. She wrote, he could have kicked him because he shot him with his taser. I'm not ruling that out. Why haven't the people who were recording released the video? Good point. I think the police are being crucified right now. Listen, the Floyd situation, that's deserving. That's a situation that, you know, I don't care what the man did. He didn't deserve to die like that. This situation, we haven't seen the last 2 minutes that this DA was talking about. So let's render our judgment until we see that. She also says, what they can do is if a white cop pulls up to a black situation, call dispatch and tell them to send a black cop to handle the situation. I mean, they could do that, but then the situation could be done by the time the black cop gets there. You know, I think that they should have people that know the neighborhood police the neighborhood because they know the lay of the land. They know the people. They know the neighborhood. They know how to communicate. You can't have people from Long Island policing people in Flatbush. It doesn't make sense. They don't know the lay of the land. They don't know how to, you know, they don't know the lingo of the people. They don't have a relationship with the community. That's the problem. There's a distinct gap between the police and the community. So if you hired more people from the community to police the community, whether, and again, like I said, the have-nots community is biracial now. It isn't just black. It's Hispanic, it's white, it's Asian. The have-nots is all of us. So that's where I think it lies. You know, we've been on for 2 hours and 18 minutes. I want to thank everybody. I had a lot more videos, but you know, I don't want to drag this on all night. We've been on. Well, you know what? Let's watch the rest of this video.
They're fighting for his life. Secondly, from the videotape, we were able to see that the other officer, Officer Brosnan, actually stood on Mr. Brooks's shoulders while he was there struggling.
So there's video. So we got to see this video.
We were able to conclude that based on the way that these officers conducted themselves while Mr. Brooks was lying there, that the demeanor of the officers immediately after the shooting did not reflect any fear or danger of Mr. Brooks, but their actions really reflected other kinds of emotions.
So if this is true in what he's saying, he is completely correct. He is 100% correct. If what he is saying is completely 100%. That's like I told Damon, and I didn't even watch this whole video yet. What it's saying is the ending, right? It's not the beginning of a situation, the scriptures tell you. It's the ending. You know what I'm saying? It's the ending of a situation, not the beginning. So what the DA is saying is, from the last 2 minutes, The other cop stood on his shoulders. The other cop, Ralph, kicked him and didn't apply CPR. So now what he's saying is he's judging that. Listen to what he's saying. He's judging that, the demeanor, that you came with ill intentions from the jump. For you to get to where you at, you came with those intentions. Listen.
While Mr. Brooks was lying there, that the demeanor of the officers immediately after the shooting did not reflect any fear or danger of Mr. Brooks, but their actions really reflected other kinds of emotions.
So, right. So you didn't fear for your life when he pointed that taser and shot you? You wasn't in fear. That's the whole point. Because it goes into the mind frame of a person and what they thought. So after I'm looking at you in the last 2 minutes of this video, you wasn't in fear. You wanted to take this man's life. That's what you wanted to do. And I keep telling you, they're pushing this racist war. They're pushing this racist war hard. Hard. The haves are pushing. Hard.
So as we are drawing our legal conclusion in this case, we were led by the two foundational cases in this matter, one being Tennessee versus Garner. And what that case points out is when an officer is pursuing a fleeing suspect, that the officer may not use deadly force to prevent escape unless the officer has probable cause to believe that the suspect poses an immediate threat of death or...
Okay, he said of death. So again, the law, right? Let's listen to it again, the law. That taser is not an immediate threat of death.
Cause to believe that the suspect poses an immediate threat of death.
So that, yeah, when you're looking at it from the law side, that changes everything. My man Damon wrote, I don't think they came with bad intentions after getting beat. The intentions could have changed. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. I think that too.
Or of serious physical injury to that officer. The next foundational case that we used in our analysis is Graham versus Connor, which says that this test is based upon that of a reasonable officer on the scene and not the individual officer, but a reasonable officer on the scene. We've concluded at the time Mr. Brooks was shot that he did not pose an immediate threat of death. Serious.
So, although he even had a taser, he did not pose a threat of death. So if you go according to the law, he is right. He did not pose the immediate threat of death. So you had no right to shoot the man 3 times, to kill him. And then I want to know where they shot him. Where were the placement of the bullets? That's what I'd like to know also.
This physical injury to the officers. If you would get the photograph.
Yeah, I agree to Anthony that their intentions, I don't think, was to kill a man when they first stopped him and went through the test. But listening to what happened after, the intentions might have changed during.
This is the first photograph that we were able to. Let me just kind of quickly see if we can get it straight.
Now this is the angle from the Wendy's. Now this is not my video feed. This is their video feed.
What this photograph illustrates is the point that Officer Roth.
Let me blow this up.
This point was firing a taser, and this is Mr. Brooks, who was firing a taser as well. but I don't know if you can see it clearly. The prongs from the table, the taser were actually fired above Officer Ross' head.
Okay, so they're saying it missed the other officer that dropped the thing.
Position of Officer Ross and Mr. Brooks, that they are here next to this red automobile. If we look at the next photograph, if we look at the next photograph, we'll see that the positions of both parties that changed. Mr. Brooks has now moved away from his original position, and we estimate the distance is probably about 12 feet. And Officer Roth has moved about 10 feet from the position in what is our exhibit number 1. This second video or second still
This is not my video feed, it's theirs.
The very instant that the shot was fired into the back of
I don't know, Damon. I don't know. Maybe he got scared because the taser, because they're saying if they freeze framed it, and they're saying that when my man let loose of the taser, it went above his head. The prongs that go into you, it missed him. So maybe him ducking or being afraid of getting shot, he dropped whatever the issue was, so he didn't get hit. This is what they're saying. It looked like he got hit because he buckled up on the car. But they're saying he didn't.
The very instant that the shot was fired into the back of Mr. Brooks. And we have also calculated the distance.
One bullet was shot in his back.
The distance that they are apart at that time was 18 feet 3 inches at the time that this shot was fired. So based upon that information, we have concluded that Mr. Brooks was running away at the time that the shot was fired. Brooks was shot twice in the back. One of the shots was a center shot to the back that penetrated his heart.
Wow.
And it was done by a 9mm Glock. Now, one of the things that we also relied upon in our conclusion is something that is called under the law or referred to as an excited utterance. And that's when someone makes an immediate statement, and because it is made without the ability to consult with counsel or to think about it, an excited utterance is considered as highly reliable. And at the time that the shot was fired, the utterance made by Officer Roth was, "I got him." That was the statement that was made at that time. We also noted who is running away. So the city of Atlanta says you cannot even fire a taser at someone who's running away. So you certainly can't fire a gun, a handgun.
Did you hear that? So they're saying the city of Atlanta says that you can't even fire a taser at someone that's running from you. So you can't shoot a gun either. This is the law of Atlanta.
At someone who is running away. So in addition to our findings, as many of you all already know, that the Atlanta mayor, Mayor Keisha Bottoms, and the police department concluded that Officer Roth's actions were excessive and in violation of APD's SOP. There's an SOP, I believe it's 4.1.1. And after their analysis that the actions were excessive, Officer Roth was fired. We have also concluded that Roth...
He said that, Latanya, he said that he was shot in the back and that shot penetrated his heart. So it went through his back and through his heart, into his back and through his heart.
that the taser in Brooks's possession, that it was fired twice. And once it's fired twice, it presented no danger to him or to any other persons. Now, we have had something quite remarkable to happen in this case, and it involves the testimony of the other officer, Devin Brosnan.
Okay.
Because Officer Brosnan has now become a state's witness. He has decided to testify on behalf of the state in this case.
So he's going to testify against his partner.
He said to us that is within a matter of days, he plans to make a statement regarding the culpability of Officer Roth. But he indicated that he is not psychologically willing to give that statement today.
Now remember this, the other cop is the one that stood on his shoulders. So he's about to become a rat on his partner. So remember, he's the one that stood on his shoulders. So both of them, the only reason why I'm saying he's a rat, because both of them, from what this guy's laying out, both of them are culpable here. Because he stood on Booker's shoulders, and the other one didn't give him CPR and kicked him, according to what this DA is saying.
Officer Brosnan, however, has admitted that he was in fact standing on Mr. Brooks's body.
Okay, so he admitted it
immediately after the shooting. So these are the charges that we have had filed today, signed by one of our Superior Court judges. These are the 11 charges against Officer Roth. The first charge is felony murder. This is the death that is as a result of a underlying felony. And in this case, the underlying felony is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And the possible sentences for a felony murder conviction would be life without parole, or the death penalty. Now,
they're in the state, they're in Atlanta.
In the arrest warrant with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and this is a count charging him for the shooting of Mr. Brooks, and the possible sentence for aggravated assault is 1 to 20 years. The third aggravated assault account is for the shooting towards or in the direction of Mr. Melvin Evans. Mr. Evans was the person who was seated in the car. We have the picture of this. And if you would point out, this automobile is the place that Mr. Evans and his two companions were driving, and a shot was fired. And I believe we also got a photo of the shot that ended up in the vehicle.
Wow. So a shot hit his car.
I think you got to stand up. And so with count 4 against Miss Officer Roth, it charges him with aggravated assault for firing the weapon in or in the direction of Danielle Killians, who was in the passenger side.
I believe that gets him 1 to 20 years.
Next slide. Count 5 is an aggravated assault charge. And this was a charge for shooting towards or in the direction of Michael Perkins. Mr. Perkins was seated in the rear of this same vehicle at that time. There's a charge for criminal damage for shooting into that vehicle. Also, Officer Roth is charged with 7 violations of office. Each one of those carries a 1 to 5 sentence. These are violations of his oath of office for the city of Atlanta, arresting Mr. Brooks for the DUI without immediately informing him, of the arrests, shooting a taser at Mr. Brooks while he was running away, which again is a violation of Atlanta's own SOP. Thirdly, excessive force when shooting a firearm at Mr. Brooks. And number 4 is the failure to render timely medical aid. Those are the 4.
No, LaTanya, can't. They got video. This is what they're saying. Remember, all through this thing, they're giving you times and minutes. They got video of him standing on this dude. They got video. So yeah, I mean, he did turn on his partner, right, so that he don't get the death penalty. Yeah, he did do that. Not that he'd probably get the death penalty because he didn't shoot, but they probably, he's probably doing it for leniency when it comes to sentencing and whatever. Of course, he did that. Yeah, they got to release that video. They're going to have to, but they want to make sure that, they don't want to show you if someone, I understand why they don't. They don't want to show you him getting kicked in his face or wherever they kicked him and him standing on the body. This is a dead person, his family, they have to be very tactful with it.
Violations of oath. The 8th is for kicking Mr. Brooks, and the possible sentence for kicking Mr. Brooks is from 1 to 20 years.
1 to 20.
And we actually have a photograph of the.
Got a photograph. Look, LaTanya. Let's see what they got a photograph of. I guess they're going to get the still photo of him kicking Brooks. That's what they're looking for.
And these are the charges for.
I guess they're going to go for. They're waiting for the
Brosnan,
pictures.
And there are a total of 3 charges. And the first charge is for aggravated assault. And this is for standing or stepping on Mr. Brooks's shoulder.
Okay, I think they got the pictures coming up.
And the possible
Wow.
sentence for
this
crime is 1
crazy.
to 20 years. And this is a photograph of Officer Brosnan, who you can see to the right. And at the time of the photograph, he is standing on the body of Mr. Brooks.
There you go, Damon.
And as I've indicated earlier in our conversations with Mr.
So it's the Wendy's video
Officer Brosnan,
that
he has admitted
they cut.
that he stood on the body of Mr. Brooks. He said he believes that he was standing on Mr. Brooks's arm, but that is what the photograph shows. We've also charged him with additionally 2 violations of oath. One is
all of this that happened. It could have been stopped if they would have helped the police subdue this man. Now this man is going to get justice, but he's dead. All of this could have been avoided if we would have just stepped in and said, yo, all right, let me help the police subdue this man, because before it goes to another level, before it gets to that point of where it did.
For the standing on the shoulder, that is an unauthorized weaponless control technique, which the city of Atlanta prohibits. And the second violation of oath was for the failure to render timely medical aid to Mr. Brooks. So the arrest warrants have already been signed. We are asking Officer Roth and Officer Brosnan to surrender themselves by 6 p.m. on the morrow. We are, because Officer Brosnan is now becoming a cooperating witness for the state. We are asking the court to grant a bond of $50,000 and to allow Mr. Officer Brosnan to sign that bond. As I indicated, that he would become one of the first police officers to actually indicate that he is willing to testify against someone in his own department. As for Officer Roth,
So he's gonna be the first one to snitch on his Now see now that's snitching. Okay, he's gonna be the first cop to do it in his county.
The person who fired the 2 bullets, we're recommending no bond for Officer Roth.
All right, Damon wrote, I see, but have you ever had someone try to kill you? And how would you react? I have had 75 to 100 people attack me and 5 other soldiers. Until you go through it, how do you know how you react? I get your point, bro. I get your point. If you cannot handle this type of job, then don't take it. You ever deal with somebody, Damon, that is in that that answer phones and you talk to them on the phone, and for some reason these people just can't, they don't have a good time talking to people. Their demeanor is totally off. What do you tell those people? You shouldn't be in communications, man. You should be behind the phone. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be answering and talking to people because your whole demeanor, your demeanor is off. You're short, you're curt, you're ornery, you don't have that pleasant, polite voice of you being someone willing to help. Don't be in that business. You became a police officer because you want to help people, and they give you training so that you are able to deal with this stuff. But see, these are the carnal answers. The spiritual answers are render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar. When they tell you stop, stop. Stop bucking up against the prick. Stop. You know what I'm saying? You've been trained through the military to be able to be tenacious in them situations, and you're able to mentally take it. If you're going to be a police officer, or if you're going to be in a position where you're above people and you have people under you, then you have to have hard skin, because people are going to curse at you, people are not going to listen, and so forth and so on. This is what you chose to do. You chose this profession. So there is no excuse, especially when a man's life is taken. Okay, you made the mistake. You took this man, you shot this man. At this point, you don't know if he's dead or not. You stand on his shoulder. You kick him. You don't apply CPR. You pick up your shell casings. See, those things are what they're judging it off of. But what I'm saying to everyone is, we need to stop it before it escalates to that point. Because although he's going to get justice, he's dead. If he had children, they don't have a father. If he had a wife, she doesn't have a husband. If his mother and father are still alive, they don't have a son. If he had brothers or sisters, they don't have a brother. We need to stop talking about it and start being about it. Start being the change that we want to see. So Damon writes, so who do you agree with, cops or the other guy? Listen, this is a whole different picture narrative from what we seen in the video. For some reason, And obviously they're taking the pictures from the Wendy's camera. They didn't release that. What they released was Brooke turning around, shooting the taser, and then him being stopped. For some reason, they cut that video off at that point. Okay? So, now that we've been schooled on the law, Ronald says, why did he take the taser? He took the taser to shoot at the cops. But the law in Georgia is it doesn't matter if he shoots a taser at you. This is the Georgia law. You're not allowed to shoot a taser at someone running or shoot at somebody. That's the law. That's the law. And then they're showing you still photos of this man standing on his shoulder. Ralph kicked him, apparently, and didn't give him CPR. So putting that into the perspective, what do you mean, who do I agree with? They were wrong. If they would have just stopped him and didn't do any of those other things, then I would say, you know what? They're human. But they need to be trained more because they need to hold their emotions. But after hearing this and seeing pictures of it, I'm sure they're going to release the video. You can't deny it no more. You can't. But here's my thing. Why the hell didn't we just get involved before it got to that point? That's my point. Did the DA missay some things? Yes. The guy didn't grab his arm hard or nothing like that. Not from the video. No, he didn't. Why did he question him for 40 minutes? Because of the heightened situation of black and whites and cops and all that, he wanted to make sure that there was no dispute. That's why. Do I think they came with the intent to kill this man? No. Do I think it changed after the scuffle? Yes. It changed after the scuffle. How do we know? Look at the video. Well, look at the stills they got. Can't fight that. Damon said kick and shoulder stand is wrong. Hell yeah, it is. Damon, I know that it's different, but if I was in war, I would give no one CPR after shooting him. That's different, brother. If you're in Afghanistan and you're in a situation where anyone can be the enemy, that's different. You're not in Afghanistan right now. You're at home. You're at home. LaTanya says the law protects the criminals and not the citizens or the cops. Okay, LaTanya, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? When you're talking about the reason why you're not supposed to shoot a guy running is because there's a chance that you can miss, which he did. That's why that cop is being charged with felony accounts against him shooting that white car that the other witnesses was in. Because you're not supposed to shoot him like that. That's why. That's the law. That's what that law is set up for. It's the same way they set up the law that when, I forget the states, but there's certain states that when cops try to chase a stolen car, if that stolen car takes off, they let them go. They don't chase them because you don't know if that dude's going to do something stupid to try and get away and hit somebody, whatever. They let them go. They take the L. These are the laws that are set up. They're set up. Let's hear the rest.
If he is given a bond, that would be done by one of our Superior Court judges. But because of the severity of his act, and then following up that act with kicking Mr. Brooks, we're asking that he not be granted a bond. I think that's it. I do want to.
Damage is okay at home. at home. I killed a civilian, killing a soldier. I gave no CPR after killing him. Okay, you're saying while you were at war. Now, see, we're going into a whole different conversation, Damon. You know what I'm saying? Let's have this conversation, you and I, on Testimony Fridays. Please call up. Let's entertain that conversation. That what you just said right there. Let's entertain that on Testimony Fridays. Okay?
Ask Mr. Sean Williams. Mr. Williams represents Melvin Evans, who was driving the vehicle from Memphis. I have already apologized to Mr. Evans on behalf of the...
Yes, you can, LaTanya. Yes, you can. Yeah.
people of Fulton County in the city of Atlanta. He was only down here for a short while, and it's really unfortunate that he was, his vehicle was...
You said in Kentucky? Let's talk about that Testimony Friday, brother. Wow. Let's talk about that Testimony Friday. That's just 2 days away.
Fired upon that night, Sean.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. I first want to, on behalf of all three of my clients who not only witnessed this horrific and tragic killing of this young man, I want to offer the condolences from them to the...
Ronald, they would at first call us an Uncle Tom and a traitor. They would. But here's the thing. I believe after having conversations and saying that, listen, you know, we saved this man from being shot and killed. You know, with the way situations are here right now, we got to step in. We have to police our neighborhoods. We have to step in. Because if we leave it up to them, if we leave it up to the way it is, we can't complain. Got to step in. Help subdue the man, right? Yeah, as bad as it sounds, it's you trying to save this man's life. Well, look at the alternative. No one stepped in and look what happened. He's dead now. So what do? The next time something like this happens, what do? Sit back and say, let's see what happens?
Rayshard Brooks family, in particular his daughter. It has been very difficult for each one of my clients because they witnessed it, and they themselves have a lot of emotion on what they saw and what they was a part of involuntarily. I want to thank Paul Howard personally and commend him. I've been doing these type of cases across this nation, and Mr. Howard is one of the few prosecutors who will actually go on the line to even investigate something like this, as serious as this, and to do it in a way that I believe makes this city proud, as I'm a resident of this great city. And as he said, with greatness come responsibility. The city of Atlanta is a great city. And I wanted to apologize to my clients themselves that they came from Memphis and witnessed this. They're not going to give statements here today, but I will confirm to you that they have met with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, provided them statements as well as information to support what you saw presented today by Paul Howard. It confirms that at no time was Mr. Brooks ever a threat to anyone, including the officers in that Wendy's parking lot. My client's statements confirm that Mr. Brooks was running, his back was turned, and was never a threat to anybody. The only threat that arose is when officer pulled out a gun.
See, that's why the part that I don't like. I mean, overwhelmingly, you proved the point that the cops took things to another level, right? and they got emotional about it. But for you to say that this dude didn't do nothing, he didn't turn around and shoot the taser, he didn't actually fight with the cops. Come on, man. Don't say that. Don't. Again, it didn't warrant his death. But don't omit that.
2 of those bullets entered Mr. Rayshard Brooks' body, killing him. 1 of those bullets entered my client's vehicle, almost killing him.
Okay, so a bullet that went through Mr. Brooks went through, hit the car.
Them. We could be here talking about 4 murders. And for that, my clients have suffered a lot, but nothing compared to what this family has.
PTSD, witnessing something also. You don't have to be involved.
And with that said, my clients are here to join the fight of justice, to provide any assistance to this family, as well as to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, as well as the GBI. And they look forward to an opportunity.
We don't have to listen to this dude talk so much. So this is where we at, guys. So what's the conclusion in the matter? The conclusion in the matter is we have to tap into our spiritual provider, our spiritual leader, which is God through Christ. We have to stop being emotional. We have to start stepping in and being the change, saying no more. It takes a village. We have to do this. We have no choice. The only one that's going to get us out of this is the Lord. When the police pull you over and ask you for your credentials, give it to them. Please. If you see one of the have-nots, because I don't want to make this a black, just a black thing, because this happens to white people too. When you see it about to get ugly, step in before it ends up with one of the have-nots' life being taken. Please, I implore you. Please. All right, so you know how we do this, man. End of the night. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you. So with that being said, let's do what we do. No. All right. I'll put this up a little bit, man. It's too low. All right. The National Alliance on Mental Illness, NAMI, NAMI.org. Their number is 800-950-6264. 800-950-6264. Or if you're in a crisis, you can text NAMI to 741-741. NAMI to 741-741. The National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 800-273-8255. 800-273-8255. National Prevention Lifeline. Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America.org for those young men and women that need mentorship. Check them out. Tuesday's Children, they deal with specifically with military families. They give help, mentorship, things of that nature. Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. Their national helpline number is 800-662-4357. 800-662-4357. It's free, confidential, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Treatment, referral, and information services in English and Spanish for individuals and families, mental and or substance use disorders. And that is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services. National Parent Helpline, 855-427-2736. 855-427-36. National Drug Helpline, 844-289-0879, 844-289-0879. Their website is drughelpline.org. They're open 24/7 for drug and alcohol help. The National Association for Children of Alcoholics, 888-554-2627, 888-554-2627. National Domestic Violence Helpline for men and women, 800-799-7233, 800-799-7233. Their website is thehotline.org. The National Child Abuse Hotline, 800-422-4453, 800-422-4453. Childhelp.org is their website. It's dedicated to prevention of children abuse, child abuse, serving the U.S. and Canada. The helpline is staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with professional crisis counselors who, through interpreters, provide assistance in over 170 languages. The hotline offers crisis intervention, information, and referrals to thousands of emergency social services and support resources, and calls are confidential. Or you can text 800-422-4453. Lord God, we ask you to please bless those that seek truth and that seek you. We ask you, Lord God, to please encamp your angels around those that are suffering. Please keep them strong in time of weakness. Give them faith in time of doubt. Lord God, we beg of you, please come soon and rectify all this wickedness that is happening on this earth. We ask you, Lord, to please put your spirit of truth and understanding on us and help us to stop being emotional, but to be logistical and spiritual creatures. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Thank you guys for being here. I thank you. I love you. Take care of yourselves and each other. Good night. I love you.
Christ is on his way. I'm here to settle the score. Turn up the nations for ain't gonna take this no more. Israel, you better enjoy. Come on, I'm here to settle the score. Turn up the nations for ain't gonna take this no more. 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 Ain't gonna take this confusion. Ain't gonna take this through.